Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of PDPMO. Same rules apply when it comes to watching movies. Please don't piss me off. My name is Richard. I will be your host again until we get to the bottom of movies, I guess. I'm not sure. One of the things I wanted to address from my first video, I was talking about spoiler alerts and how, moving forward, these were all going to have spoiler alerts. But then I realized that, I still want people to watch this. If they haven't seen the movie, I don't want them to just be like, no, I'm not interested. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try and give my opinion on what I thought of the movie without giving any spoilers away first. And then, I'll make the switch and start getting into specifics, but I'll let you guys know when that happens. So then, if you just want to hear if I liked it or not, you can stick around. And then if you don't want to know what happens in the movie or anything that I might give away, then you can watch something else. But please, if you like, if you like what I'm saying, click like, please. Looking forward to it. And keep the suggestions coming. The amount of support, thank you all so much already. The amount of support I've been receiving, both, in my personal life and online, has just been amazing, more than even I thought possible. So thank you for the bottom of my heart for making this as enjoyable for me as I'm hoping it is for you. A lot of people ask me, what my favorite movie is. And for me, I like to break it down in one of two ways. Are they asking me what I think the best movie I've ever seen is, or my favorite movie? And I know some of you out there are thinking, well, it's the same thing, and I completely disagree. I think there's a difference between favorite movie and best movie. I will, at later shows go into what I think are the best movies and what I think are my favorite movies, but to explain the difference, I look at, say, hockey, because I'm a big sports fan. And I look at, say, if somebody asked me what my favorite hockey team is. Geographically, I'm BC boy, so my favorite hockey team is the Vancouver Canucks. Would I say that they are the best hockey team? No, I don't even think the members of the Vancouver Canucks would say that, at least not with a straight face. But that's the same kind of criteria I look at movies and anything really is favorite versus best. I'd like to challenge you guys to think about it. Think about what you would consider your favorite movies, or what do you think the best movies, and maybe click them in the suggestions, and I might be able to get around to them. I might agree, I might disagree, but that's the whole point of this particular channel. Again, that's for laters. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel movie Eternals. The first week I did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that was kind of an easy review because it's universally kind of panned as not a great installment in the series. And if you haven't seen my review on that one, please go back and watch the first one. But the reason I decided to choose Eternals is two reasons. One, I wanted to get a movie that's still in theaters, a little more current. And two, my opinion actually isn't what mainstream thinks. I actually really like this movie. I loved this movie. Are there problems with it? Of course. But for me, it hit a lot of really great great points for me. One of the things I look for in a movie is how it affects me emotionally. And as far as Marvel movies go, I thought this one, there were a couple of scenes in particular that really got to me. They really moved me, and I'll get into those later on, because again, this is still for people who are checking it out without wanting spoilers. But my wife and I were sitting around, and we decided to rank the Marvel movies, and this one actually ranked quite high for me. And we're talking MCU, not the old Marvel. But this one ranked quite high for me, and judging by what's on imdb.com, huge fan by the way, or just what's online, I seem to be in the minority. So I'm probably going to take some heat over this one, but I'm willing to take it. That's kind of why I'm doing this. But it made me feel. It talked about like real world issues. It addressed, some things that, touched my life personally. And I mean, maybe that's why it maybe spoke to me a little more than to others. I love the characters. I thought the acting was wonderful. I felt the script was tight. Um, the way they moved back and forth between present and past was, I thought, was really well done. Again, not a perfect movie, but I'm not asking for perfect. I'm asking for don't piss me off. And this movie didn't, not at all. So at this point in time, I'm going to start saying, okay, now we're going to start getting the spoilers. But seriously, go in. So for all the people who are checking out right now, if you want to go see Eternals, just go into it with an open mind. I hope you enjoy it. If you're going into it based on my review, I really hope you enjoy it because I don't want you to waste your money. Or if you just want to wait around for it to eventually come on Disney Plus, you can do that too. All right, now we're into the spoilers thing. One of the big complaints that I hear from this movie is that too many of the characters feel ripped off from DC. I mean, you've got Makari, who can run really fast, obviously the Flash. You've got an ancient female warrior who fights with ancient weapons, Athena, played by Angelina Jolie, obviously, the Wonder Woman reference. And you've got Icarus, played by Richard Madden. He's kind of the Superman character. He can fly, lasers out of his eyes, kind of thing. He even makes reference to it in the movie that he doesn't wear a cape, like that kind of thing. It's just tongue in cheek. And one of the fight scenes at the end, like, it literally felt like I was watching a Justice League movie, and I get that. I do get that, but I find a lot of times movie critics, because I don't consider myself a critic, I'm a movie reviewer. I don't go in expecting to cut a movie down. I want to see if I'm going to enjoy it or not. I find that a lot of movie critics, especially fanatics, and let's face it, the comic book people out there, they can get a little like obsessed with their characters and the depictions of them. And, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, that's where the word fan comes from. But they're also very particular. They're willing to accept some similarities between characters, and then they're going to crucify other ones. Because if you look at, say, the character of Deadpool, most people, especially comic book people and comic movie fans, love the character of Deadpool. I get it. I love Deadpool. My wife is obsessed with Deadpool. Seriously obsessed. Like, that expression, if you need help, blink twice. Like, that kind of situation. But yeah, she's obsessed with Deadpool. And I understand why. Deadpool's a great character. But Deadpool, I mean, Marvel has admitted, Deadpool is a complete ripoff of the character Deathstroke. Like, they did it intentionally. I mean, Deadpool's alias is Wade Wilson. Deathstroke, Slade Wilson. I mean, you don't have to really be a rocket scientist to see that. And like everyone's willing to look past that because they're happy with Deadpool and they're happy with what the Marvel, both in comics and movies, have been able to portray Deadpool as. But the slam against Eternals, I think, is a bit unfair, because if you're going to say it's all right for Deadpool, it should be all right for Icarus and Athena and Makari and any other like comic book characters that you're going to do. And another one that people like to go off about is the gender swapping. Particularly, say, the character of Ajax, played, I thought, wonderfully by Salma Hayek. In the comics, Ajax, a dude. But this isn't the first time Marvel's done it. I mean, and they've done it successfully. Look at Ghost. I thought Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought that portrayal was great. They also gender swapped Taskmaster in Black Widow. Oh, spoiler alert for Black Widow. But I already said spoiler alert, so you know that. Taskmaster I have issue with, but it's not because of the gender swap. It's other stuff, but I'll get into that when I review Black Widow. But there are all these things that it's if you don't like the movie, then don't like the movie. That's fine. You're not being forced to like the movie. But if you're using the arguments about like gender swapping or ripping off of DC, you really have to paint it with the same brush. I mean, if you're going to get mad at Eternals for ripping off DC, then you have to get mad at Deadpool because the entire character is a ripoff. But you don't. Because you like Deadpool, you're going to defend Deadpool. I think that's a little hair splitty. I think we're just getting spoiled. I think that we're expecting everything to be our way. We want things to please us. One of the big things is they were talking about there were so many characters in this because you've got all the Eternals, and it would have been better suited as a TV series on Disney Plus, like what they did with Loki or I'm drawing a blank. The What If series, the animated one, or any of the others. I like them all, so I mean, there is merit in that. But I mean, if you look at any great movie, you could expand on any great movie into a TV series. I mean, for me, that's a slippery slope, because if we start making every movie into a TV series just to be able to expand these characters enough to satisfy us, then we're talking about getting rid of movies altogether. And I that's a frightening thought for me, because I really enjoy movies. So again, I mean, you've got all these, I think, great characters that you can't spend enough time. You can't spend enough time really developing all the characters. And are these characters undeveloped? Of course they are. But Eternals, because of the nature of the team, they're not like an Avengers thing, because when Marvel decided to come up with the entire like MCU idea, they did it the right way, which is you establish characters. They came out with an Iron Man movie. They came out with a Thor movie. They did the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. So that when the Avengers came out, you had well-developed characters. So now you put the team in, and now that team, you're just like, yes, I'm Team Avengers, let's go. You can't do that with Eternals because they're kind of a package deal. Let's face it, would anybody, and I mean anybody, go to see a Phastos movie or a Druig movie or a Circe and Icarus movie? There are a lot of people who don't even know who these characters are. And Eternals was just kind of a way to introduce all these characters to the MCU. So, I mean, I personally, I try not to think about, like, it shouldn't be a movie, it should be a TV series instead. That's not for me to decide. I have to just kind of accept what the movie is and base it on its merits, not what I think they should rather be doing. Because if that was the case, I would be making my own movies. And if you're out there and you're like, this should be a TV series, by all means, get out your laptop and start writing, because there's a lot of room. I mean, there's a lot of stories to be told. So if you want to make a TV series, go for it. I'm actually kind of a writer myself, but that's way for another time. Now, if you look at, say, the characters that are in there, we're dealing with real issues now. I mean, props to Marvel for tackling some real things. Like, we have our first a deaf character with Makari, the Flash. We've got our first openly gay character. I mean, Loki in the Loki series did kind of joke about, going both ways. But this is our first openly gay character, which for me, I love this representation. Thena, Angelina Jolie's character, is dealing with a mental illness that is taking away her identity. And I thought they really did a nice job with, you know, I thought they handled that well because, I mean, a lot of people in, today's world are affected either personally or in their families and friends with people with Alzheimer's or dementia, or, like with Makari, dealing with people with disabilities, or with like Fastos dealing with gender issues. And so I like that Marvel's trying to represent these characters in a positive way so that people who are dealing with this can relate. I have friends and family members who all three of those categories, apply to certain parts of my life, and I'm really appreciative. I think it's one of the reasons why I enjoyed this movie so much, because it just really kind of hit home for me. It's tough to say because so many people, they're so easy to criticize, but I find that these stories need to be told, and a lot of times these stories get overlooked because we don't want to talk about them. It's easier not to. It's easy to relate to a Superman like character because we want to escape. Like a lot of people don't like going to movies and feeling it to be that real. And I know in a movie like Eternals, like you're dealing with like essentially gods. It's tough to imagine that you're dealing with reality. But I felt that that's what they tried to do, and I really I really enjoyed that. I think that's about it for this movie. I highly recommend it. Again, for I understand it's not for everybody, but I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to seeing what. I thought the performances were great, particularly Kumail Nanjiani. Oh man, he blew my socks off. Like I just thought he was just great throughout. Richard Madden, who I mentioned earlier, I thought was wonderful. I'm a big fan of his. But Eternals, yes, from me. I went on to, because after I see a movie, I like to go on imdb.com and see where it ranks, and it's like a 6.9 or something like that. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm in the minority. But yeah, go check out Eternals. If you like it, I'd love to hear back from you. If you don't like it, I'd love to hear back from you. That's the whole point of this site, is to talk movies. So yeah, please like and subscribe. The buttons are all over the place. For those of you who are interested, actually, just was something I mentioned earlier. My wife has actually launched a TikTok account. I'm on TikTok too, by the way. Check it out. And she's going to be launching a YouTube channel this week, so I will definitely be plugging that. She is dealing with some rather severe health issues, and she's going to be putting some support and love out there, which I'm hoping to also do with this channel. So I'm going to put a link to her TikTok in the comments, and when her YouTube page is launched, I will get that on there as well. So check her out. I mean, well, check out the channel. Don't check her out. Mine. Anyway, both of us were just trying to put some love and joy and smiles out there. So check out her YouTube channel. Check out my YouTube, my TikTok, and check out Eternals. Talk to you soon. Bye.